Hey, what's happening guys? It's Bharat Nagpal, and today we're going to be unboxing and then reviewing the new Xiaomi Mi 5S Plus. So let's get started. Now this giant Mi 5S Plus was launched among many other phones in China by Xiaomi this year. But a lot of those phones have not been launched in India, and it's a big pity because I feel that this phone is totally worth coming to India, and it hasn't. So let's get into this review and find out why. The first thing we're going to do is unbox the Xiaomi Mi 5S Plus, and to do that, we're going to get this box open. Now we got the Mi 5S Plus from the website gearbest.com, and if you guys are interested in buying the Mi 5S Plus, it's on sale right now, so you can get it for as low as $401. Which roughly translates to 23 or 24,000 rupees in India. So once you buy it, shipping is absolutely free. So inside the box of the Mi 5S Plus, you'll get the phone itself. You'll also get a SIM ejector tool and some documentation. If you go further in, you'll also get a clear transparent back case for the phone, along with the charger and the charging cable. Now the charger is a fast charger, and the phone does use a USB Type-C charging cable, so that is included inside the box. That's everything from the box of the Mi 5S Plus. It's time to take a quick look at the device itself. Over at the front of the Mi 5S Plus is a 4 megapixel or a 4 ultra pixel sensor, which is similar to what we've seen in HTC phones in the past. So you get a 2 micron pixel size. It's a 4 megapixel sensor, but the pixel size is quite large, and you get an f2.0 aperture. The front camera sits right next to the earpiece, which sits above the 5.7 inch 1920 by 1080p display. Despite its large size, you still get a 386 pixel per inch pixel density. Now below that are 3 touch capacitive buttons that are backlit, and on the bottom of the device you'll see the USB Type-C charging port, some industrial style screws, antenna bands, and you'll also see 2 grills. One is for the microphone and one is for the main loudspeaker. Over to the right of the device is the power button, and above that is the volume rocker. On the top of the device you'll find an infrared blaster, a 3.5mm standard headphone jack, and a secondary noise cancellation microphone. Over at the left is the SIM card tray. Now this will accept 2 SIM cards, and the phone does accept GSM as well as CDMA SIM cards, and it works on 4G as well as VoLTE or Voice over LTE. Now over at the back are 2 13 megapixel sensors with an f2 aperture, and they have a 1.12 micron pixel size. So they're still larger than a standard 1 micron pixel, but they're not as big as the 2 micron over at the front. You also have a dual tone LED flash with 2 LEDs, and below that is the fingerprint sensor. You'll find the Mi logo at the bottom of the back side, and you'll find this brushed aluminum finish. It's available in a bunch of colors, and you can pick your favorite color. Now running everything on this phone is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 chipset. That's right, it's the same chipset found in the Google Pixel as well as the OnePlus 3T. Now this has a quad-core CPU with 2 cores running at 2.35 GHz and 2 cores running at 2.2 GHz. You also get the Adreno 530 GPU. Now the phone is available in 2 variants, a 4GB with 64GB storage and a 6GB with 128GB storage. Again, you can choose which one you want, but if you get the 4GB plus 64GB, which should be good enough for a lot of people, you can get it for really cheap, around $400 with free shipping to India. Now as far as build quality is concerned, the phone is pretty well built. So the curvature on the back of the phone fits really well in the palm of your hand, and it feels really comfortable to use this device. The top edges or the front edges of the display are slightly sharp over at the corners where you might hurt your finger, so you better be careful of that. Now the display on the device is a 1920 by 1080p display. We would have really liked it if Xiaomi would have put a 2K display, but they have not done that, and it is an IPS LCD display. Still, the display is extremely bright and really easily readable indoors as well as outdoors, and you have excellent viewing angles thanks to the IPS LCD. Colors as well as contrast is on point, and overall the display looks good despite only being a 1080p display. As far as performance is concerned, the phone does run the Qualcomm 821 chipset, which is a slight revision to the 820, which is a really powerful chipset this year, and mostly all flagships had it. The OnePlus 3, the Mi 5 had the 820. Now the OnePlus 3T, which is a revision to the OnePlus 3, along with the Mi 5S and the Mi 5S Plus, have the 821 chipset. Unfortunately, despite the big improvement of the new chipset, benchmark scores remain on the low side for the Mi 5S Plus. Now the version that we are looking at is the 4GB with 64GB storage, so lower benchmark scores could be a result of the low RAM available on the device. But overall, it seems that Xiaomi has underclocked the chipset to give you a better battery life, which this phone does have. Speaking about performance, if you're doing things like day-to-day tasks, switching between applications, running high-end games, the device seems to manage all of that without any problem. You are running Android 6 still, and that is an issue for us, whereas Android 7 has been rolled out for quite a while, and the Pixel ships with a newer version of Android 7. But the problem with the Xiaomi phones and the OnePlus phones and all the phones that are available in the market even today or even launching today are still shipping with Android 6 or 6.0.1, and that is something that the companies need to change. The phone is running MIUI Global Stable 8.0, which is fantastic because you don't get the Chinese version, and when you order the phone to India, you should get it out with the global version if you buy it from gearbest.com. The UI is like any other Xiaomi phone, so it's fast and responsive. You do get all your apps on the main home page, as well as the subsequent pages. You can also access Google Now and some of the Xiaomi shortcuts that are there. You also get this enhanced reading mode, which basically is a blue light filter that is installed on the phone. So if you're reading at night, it makes it slightly more easy on the eye. As far as the cameras are concerned, there is a dual 13 megapixel sensor at the back, which allows you to create the depth effect that you find on the iPhone 7 Plus, which Xiaomi has tried to pull off, but it's not the best iteration of that, and not a whole lot of defocusing happens when you use that feature on the Xiaomi Mi 5S Plus. Despite that, you still get 4K video capabilities along with really nice 13 megapixel pictures, which you can capture on the phone if you have really well lit situations. In low light situations, the camera slightly struggles, and despite using the color balancing light, you will not get the best image results from the camera. Now, the front camera is a 4 megapixel camera which has an f2 aperture and a 2 micron pixel size, which means that a lot of light is hitting each pixel of the camera sensor. This is the same sensor that HTC was using in their ultra pixel camera for a very long time, which was rated as one of the best cameras of its time. The front facing camera works really well in well lit as well as low lit conditions, even better so than the rear camera. And if you're a fan of selfies, the front camera will be a great boon to you. You get your traditional filters and effects if you want to add those, and the camera overall gives you a good result. The front camera is limited to 1080p video, whereas the rear camera can shoot 4K video. The camera does not have any form of stabilization, so if you have shaky hands like me, you will not get the best results from video, but overall video is sharp and crisp if you capture it on the phone. One of the great advantages of this phone, if you buy it from China, is the fact that you get a completely global phone, so it will work with GSM as well as CDMA networks, and it does support LTE networks that are in India. So if you're using any of the new network providers which do support 4G, all of those should work just fine on the Mi 5S Plus. The network strength is excellent and phone call capability is good. We would have liked a better earpiece for the phone, but we do not get that. This earpiece is still good, but it could have been a tad bit louder. The speakerphone on the device is extremely loud, especially if you get phone calls. You will not miss them from any corner of your house. It's an extremely loud speaker, and whether you're listening to music, playing games, or anything, the location of the speaker is a little off and may come in the way if you're playing games, but for everything else, the speaker is loud and will satisfy your needs. The size is a little big for most people. It fits really well in my hand, and I have large hands. So if you have tiny hands, you might want to reconsider this, but you do get a one-handed operation mode on the device. So if you want to use the phone with one hand, you can do it, but it's definitely not recommended as the phone is slippery. It's an all aluminum phone. It's giant in terms of its size. So I would recommend that if you have small hands, don't be brave. Otherwise, you might end up breaking it. The fingerprint sensor is pretty fast and snappy. The phone does support OTG and has all the sensors that you would need from this device. You also have an infrared blaster over at the top, and you also get the Mi Remote app that basically controls almost everything inside your house that uses a remote control. So whether it's your air conditioner, television, stereo system, or even Tata Sky, everything can be controlled with the Mi Remote control, and you can set up your rooms so you can have different remotes set up for each room. And if you have other Mi phones in the house that do have the Mi Remote, you can share it with each other. So you don't need to reconfigure the remotes for all the other rooms as well. So one app or one device can have all the remotes, and then you can share it with your parents, your friends, your family, and it just makes it that much easier. Battery life is also pretty phenomenal on this device, where you get 3,800 milliamps of battery. You will easily pass through a whole day. And then you also have this really cool battery optimization app within MIUI 8 that allows you to see what app is consuming how much power and which app you should shut down in the background so that it's not consuming your battery. and it's not draining your battery while you're not using your phone. It's a pretty impressive app. You also get extended battery saving options, an overall improved outlook of the whole battery usage scenario on the app. So it's pretty fantastic. And if you want to manage your battery profiles, and if you want to use your phone for extended periods of time, the battery will turn out to be pretty good. Now, despite a bunch of flaws, the Mi 5S Plus is a pretty fantastic phone. We could have used a slightly louder earpiece. We could have used slightly better cameras at the back. Instead of putting two sensors, they could have stuck with just a single sensor with possibly better micron pixel size. But what Xiaomi is trying to do is sort of take on the appearance of the new iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus and trying to make it fit into that scenario, where the Mi 5S comes with a single camera and the Mi 5S Plus comes with dual sensors at the back. The dual sensors are great if you're going to be using their depth features, which are not that well made in the first place, and you'll find yourself clicking normal pictures rather than those depth pictures. Otherwise, you get good HDR and you get good contrast and resolution from these images. So you will be really happy with the overall outlook of the camera as long as you're not using both the cameras together. They have underclocked the chipset for sure, because we're not getting the kind of benchmarks that we would from an 821 chipset, and we're not getting the kind of performance that we'd expect from an 821 chipset, but it does give you a full days of battery life, and it does give you excellent amounts of screen on time. You do have all your sensors inbuilt into the device, including NFC, including GPS, GLONASS, etc. So all those things are in the device, and you don't need to worry about it. You do not get expandability, so if you choose the 64 gigabyte, you're stuck with that. But you do have the option of choosing a 128 gigabyte phone and getting 6 gigabyte of RAM, which will give you better performance from the device overall. Now, despite launching so many phones overseas, it's a pity that Xiaomi is not really considering India as an important market. It is not launching all their phones in India. We would really like to see the Mi 5S along with the Mi 5S Plus, which according to us is a pretty fantastic phone in India, and they haven't done that. We would have also liked to see the Mi Mix in India, which also they have not done. So hopefully, if Xiaomi is listening, they should bring this phone to India, and it's a great option. But if they're not, we'll leave a link in the description below so that you guys can go ahead and buy this phone. So that's it for our review, guys. If you have any questions or queries, you can drop them in the comment section below. We'll put a full review for this, including images and image samples on iGAN.in, so you can go check that out. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Hit that like button if you like this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more such reviews in the future. This has been Bharat Nagpal. I'll see you in the next one.